Hi, everyone. Welcome to today's webinar, 5 Steps to Maximize Service Center Revenue. We're excited to have you here today. My name is Taylor Lauritzen, and I'm part of the marketing team here at Connect. Thanks, everybody, for joining us today. We've got a great session lined up. For our speakers, we have myself and Matt Boyce, who is the head of marketing here at Connect. Thanks for being here, Matt. Before we jump in.
There we go. Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, sorry. I was just going to go through a couple quick housekeeping items. First one, if you're using, or we're using GoToWebinar today, so you should see that control panel on the right-hand side of your screen. You can use that to submit questions throughout the presentation. We'll do our best to answer them during, but we will also have a live Q&A at the end. You're all muted by default just to cut down on background noise, but again, feel free to interact with us during that or through that questions tab. And then lastly, we are recording today's webinar and it will be sent out afterwards. So if you need to hop off early or want to revisit anything later, you'll have access to that. Awesome. Okay, well, I'm going to go ahead and turn the time over to Matt to get us kicked off.
I'm excited to talk today. I will admit my voice is a little raw. I'm an Indiana Pacers fan. I went to Game 4 back in Indiana. It was electric, but I shouted for about 4 hours straight. And so I'll probably be drinking lots of water as we go. So I appreciate your patience. Let's jump into the agenda. Here's what we're going to talk about. First of all, why? Why is this relevant, especially now in June of 2025, but also into the foreseeable future. But also let's talk about how can we first streamline operations. Let's talk about that. Then we'll move into customer relationships and how to build a stronger relationship with your buyers, with your customers. We're going to talk about improving communications transparency and how to ways to do that with your team and with technology. 5 will take a deeper dive into technology and how certain tools can improve service experiences. And then number 6, how reputation matters and how that can help as well. And then we've got a handful of real world success stories and a little video to play. And then save or don't save your Q&A. If you have a question, drop it in the chat and we'll get to those as we get to the end. So with that, let's jump in. Ultimately, the importance of optimizing your service center revenue is going to be especially pivotal. A lot of times there are inefficiencies, there might be communication breakdowns, missed opportunities, missed upsells, and really a lot of that means wasted time for your team and missed revenue. So let's figure out how to prevent those. If you recognize the guy on the right, that's Yossi, that's the car dealership guy. And we actually met with Yossi about a month ago. He was a fantastic host, took us to lunch in Philadelphia. We chatted for a couple of hours. One of the things that he said that really stood out to me was he ran a poll of his listeners, which is primarily auto dealerships, but I think this applies to auto and other types of dealers, to talk about what are their priorities. Their first was, how do we acquire more used car inventory? And the second was, in this economic uncertainty, how do we maximize our service center revenue? So he's been putting out a lot of content about that, and that's a strong focus. I imagine that that's also this probably rings true for you on the webinar. And just so you know who your fellow listeners are, we have a handful of OEM dealerships, we have a handful of auto dealerships, Ford, GM dealers. We also have a handful of specialty dealers, equipment dealers, power sports dealers. And so we'll use examples that apply to both, and a lot of these applications are relevant across all dealerships. And then additionally, I recently had the opportunity to go meet with 2 of the most productive and efficient service centers in the country. And we took a lot of the insights that they're seeing and put them into this outline. So on the left, this is Austin Subaru, and I was in their operation for a day. It was incredible. They do about 4,000 ROs a month. They are the busiest and most productive Subaru service center in the country, and they just had a ton of people in their showroom, in their service lane. It was just a spectacle. It was really impressive. And then on the right, I went to a Nissan dealership in San Antonio, and they're really effective. They're a little more small volume. They're just under 1,000 ROs a month, but they are recognized as one of the top 50 Nissan dealerships in the world. And a lot of that is because of the way they handle their service center and their repeat returning customers. So we'll go through a lot of stories from those two, but being able to see inside, they pulled back the curtain, showed us everything. It was really impressive. So we've got a handful of steps. Let's talk about step one. The first piece is streamlining operations to boost efficiency. Both of those dealers are offering automated scheduling where customers can book 24/7, and they've got a real-time availability sync back to their DMS and back to their tools. So they're not just sending out a link and saying request a time, and then they have a rep on their side book. They're basically using tools that allows the customer to request a time, and it's either over chat or voice, where their customers can actually go in and pick a time. And so if you need to schedule an appointment at midnight, people can do that. Additionally, they have reduced no-shows through automated reminders and confirmations and even rescheduling. So by automating that, they no longer need their service team to take care of that. That just makes them a lot more efficient. And then additionally, they're maximizing their service bays, where they are continually promoting or reaching out to their prospects to book their appointments. They're not just waiting for appointments to come into them. And so everyone probably has a lull in the middle of the afternoon on a Wednesday, but by proactively reaching out and messaging about recalls or about regular scheduled maintenance, they're able to book those slower times and keep their bays full as much as possible. And crazy enough, Austin Subaru has been so busy that they're offering multiple shifts where you can drop off your car early in the morning, late at night. They have a really wide schedule, and they're able to keep their base full through these strategies. Taylor, do you want to talk about customer relationships?
Yeah. So step 2 of this is building stronger relationships with your customers. A great way to do this is by leveraging your customer data to provide personalized recommendations and proactive reminders, which is something that, we talked about in the last one, but still relevant here. When you offer tailored suggestions based on past service history, customers are going to feel like you truly understand their needs. And then, automating service reminders is another key piece of this. Sending timely reminders and relevant reminders ensures that a customer will never miss an appointment service and keeps them engaged with your dealership, which is ultimately what we're wanting here, keeps them sticky. So this is a simple but powerful way to encourage repeat visits and build that long-term loyalty. And then finally, transparency plays a huge role in fostering that trust. Clear, honest communication about things like service timelines, pricing, and expectations can make customers feel more comfortable and valued, which is essential in creating those lasting relationships.
I wanted to add a couple just stories from Austin Subaru and Sierra Nissan. At Austin Subaru, because they're such a high volume store, they actually have a dedicated coffee shop with 2 baristas, which seems crazy. So everything is free at this little coffee shop, and you're able to come in, grab a drink. They've got snacks, bags of popcorn, little things. They've got fast Wi-Fi, and so people are relaxing and having a good time while they're waiting in the waiting room. It doesn't feel like it's this big pain. They also had a specific covered patio outside with fans, and so it was pretty pleasant to sit there and wait. It really wasn't bad at all. It was crazy to see so many people just hanging out waiting for their cars to be done. I just think by giving a quick snack, you don't have to have a full barista, but the more benefits you can offer, I think helps. they also had someone going around. I mean, this is specific to Austin and to Subaru, but they had 2 people go around meeting their guests, which was pretty impressive. One of them brought a dog into the dealership, and they have like a dealership pet, and so they would bring this dog around. I think its name was Rally, and they'd bring the dog around and let everybody kind of see the dog, and they'd make rounds with the dog every once in a while. And they had a second customer go through, or a second employee go through, with branded hats and stickers, and just passing those out. So it was impressive to see someone, just waiting for their car to be serviced, and they were getting snacks, drinks, snacks, and even petting an animal. So that was impressive. On the flip side, at the Nissan dealership, they didn't have those same amenities, but they tried to err on the side of transparency. And so they were giving a lot of scheduled or automated messages to say your car has met this stage or that stage, and it just makes it easier to do business with a service center like that.
Totally.
Let's talk step 3. Here is improving communication transparency, which I hinted at on the last slide. But first, real-time service updates. The more you're able to automate this and let customers know what stage their vehicle is in, is incredibly valuable. We've all had experiences where we have a technician come to our house, or we get our tires rotated, or whatever it is we do, and we just have no idea when something's happening or what's going on. And so by being proactive and sending those updates, it just makes it easier to do business, and keeps your customers happy. Additionally, any way that you can define service expectations is going to win. So if you can automate confirmations, even cost estimates or breakdowns or timing projections, the more transparent you can be, the better. And then I love seeing dealers take advantage of CSI and NPS surveys, where you're able to reach out and get feedback from your customers. And the more you integrate that into your process and prepare your customers for it, the better your feedback will be. Taylor, do you want to take over and talk about technology?
Yeah, so step 4 is all about leveraging technology to improve both the service experience and operational efficiency. One way to do this is by automating those service reminders and follow-ups. This keeps customers engaged, reduces no-shows, and helps improve retention over time. Another key element here is maximizing that technician efficiency. By using technology to track the technician performance and job status, you can ensure that each technician is working to their full potential, which optimizes the overall output and for your service department. And then finally, just integrating technology with the customer communication tools is essential for streamlining the entire service process. So when your service management system is connected to your communication tools, just everything else runs so much more smoothly, from scheduling and invoicing, and just ensuring that all of those customer interactions are tracked.
One challenge that I see is a lot of dealerships do have technology, but a lot of it is disparate, which in this case means just disconnected, not fully integrated. And so I've seen dealerships with upwards of 50 different software tools. And the more you can consolidate and use single tools across your stack, the more easy it is to send automated reminders and survey requests, review requests, things like that, where you've consolidated your tool set. With that, let's talk about building a strong reputation. Ultimately, whether you are trying to get your customers who purchase your car to come back to your service center, or you are trying to service other vehicles in your area, as soon as someone searches for best service center near me for whatever unit, You want to obviously be at the top of that list. I do see some dealerships will have their service center have a separate Google listing from their dealership, and that depends on what you want to do. It just helps you show up in search results, but that's not the only way to do it. But the more you can stand out in those search results, the more people will choose you over your competition. And even your customers coming from or repeat customers, they may be debating whether they want to come back to you for a service or not. If you can show up strong online, they're more likely to say, yes, I am going to choose to get my routine maintenance done here. Additionally, the more you can automate review collection, the better off you are. If you can trigger a review invitation, I'm getting some backup. I don't know if that's me.
I think that.
Do you hear anything? No. Okay. Now it's gone. We'll see if that helps. The more you can basically trigger a review invitation to be sent at the moment a service is complete, the more likely you are to get that positive review. I specifically prefer text. I think text is the least intrusive and the most responded to, so I think it's better than an email or other methods. And then you want to make sure you're leveraging those reviews for marketing. So highlight your testimonials in promotional materials, have your reviews on your website, things like that. And then I've got a flow here just to demonstrate the way that I recommend driving the most and best feedback. So you get a quick text after your transaction saying, we'd love to hear about your experience, please click here. And you basically get a gate that's saying yes or no. You've probably seen these before all the time, but if they say yes, they're directed to Google, Facebook, Carfax, wherever. If they say no, they're directed to private feedback to give you any insight that might be helpful. I've seen instances where people say, I would not recommend Sterling Auto House because I got rear-ended while I was driving there, which is crazy, doesn't have anything to do with them. But if you're able to get that as private feedback and not on your Google page, it keeps your Google page especially clean. And you may be able to resolve that and then still send a review invite. And so you keep a happy customer and you keep your reputation clean. One other kind of bizarre story. There's another business that I was taking a look at, and they got a negative review from a employee's ex-girlfriend, and it was not flattering towards that employee. And they were able to dispute that to Google and have it taken down. And so if you have reviews that are not about your business or irrelevant, make sure you are disputing those to that platform. And here's just a quick example of what a review carousel could look like on your website, where you're able to display those reviews on your site so that people aren't necessarily leaving your site to go look at you. I've got a real world success story that I wanted to show off. So Sierra Nissan really prides themselves on their CSI and NPS scores. And what they do is immediately after a transaction, whether it's service or the sale of a vehicle, they'll send out just a text saying, on a scale of 1 to 10, how satisfied were you with your visit? Then they hope everything's a 9 or a 10, obviously. And then they'll reply back and say, awesome, you're going to get a survey from the OEM. Please give them similar feedback. That means a lot to us. But then on the off chance that they get an 8 or below, they're immediately reaching out to that person to resolve their concern. And frequently it's things, again, like they got in a car accident on the way there, or just small things. Obviously it's hard to please everyone, and so they can address that and try to resolve that issue before they get the review invite. And so as a result, Sierra for 5 years in a row has won the the top award for customer excellence across 1,300 Nissan dealerships. They're always ranked in the top 50 globally. So this seems small, but it has a massive impact on their business and both their service center and their showroom. So with that, let's talk about actionable takeaways. Before I go through these, I'm going to play a quick video because I feel like you'll enjoy watching this. This is a deep dive from from Austin Subaru. And this is just a couple minutes, but I feel like it's so good. I wanted to take you behind the scenes and show you everything about them.
My return on investment from Connect over the past 4.5, 5 years is so ungodly that I could not imagine ever going back and doing any of this without it, because this growth would be impossible without the support that Connect has provided us. My name is Cody Penna. I'm the general manager of Austin Subaru, self-proclaimed and legitimately the leading service and sales Subaru retailer in the United States.
We do over 100 repair orders a day, easy. Some days 140, maybe more, but we're probably doing about 4,000 repair orders a month.
From the inception of partnering with Connect in 2021 to now, the result of year-over-year compounding increase from retention, net profitability, CSI, CSE, NPS, all on a massive upward trend, thanks to our ability to stay in touch with our customers this way. Most of the time, if you walk into the run-of-the-mill BDC in the service department, they're either trying to play a service advisor or trying to play a receptionist. The last thing that they're doing is finding new business, generating leads, and ultimately converting to revenue. Connect is the platform that allows me as the dealer to ensure that I never miss a connection point with the customer at any stage of their life cycle. Midnight, Sunday, holidays, without having to staff somebody to take care of them.
We get about 30 to 40 calls a day. To be able to limit that to 20 calls, that helps us so much.
A recall to me is like a gift. Now that car's in my service drive. They're meeting one of my friendly service advisors. They're receiving a video multi-point inspection about everything on their car. They could leave with a completely different perspective on what it's like to do business at the dealership, or they might see one of these beautiful cars in the showroom and take one home. At multiple manufacturers within our group, we have received the manufacturer provided recall lists and completely emptied them by using Connect's AI tool to contact customers. That was the aha moment when I realized we have something really special here. Historically, to launch a campaign or to have mass outreach at that scale, we would painstakingly curate a list of whether it's a VIN number, an email, a phone number, all of the above, and just layers upon layers of spreadsheets that require somebody to click, call, highlight, click, call, highlight. Not the most efficient way to get to your customers. Since adopting Connect's product, we now take that process that would take days, if not weeks, to reach a subset of customers and convert it to seconds.
We put out an alignment campaign. We started at the beginning of May. We're probably at 4 alignments, and we're at almost 50 alignments we have sold. And it's only been, 12 days, so it's working.
Our BDC does a fantastic job of staying organized and keeping our bays full, so we always have so much business all the time.
Every single widget, every single app, every single company is pushing the whole AI narrative down your throat right now. I encourage you to look to Connect first, not just because they offer a great product, they answer their phone, they provide great service, and all the other things that come with a great partnership. They have the receipts, and they've been there since the beginning. They didn't just come up with this formula overnight.
I don't know where I would be without Connect. It would make my life so hard.
My return on investment from Connect over the past 4.5, 5 years.
There we go, my bad. I wanted to show that because to just pull back the curtains and see their dealership, they're humming across all aspects of the business. And their GM, Cody Penna, talks about it all starting in the service center, where by focusing on the service center, at one point he said they come in, they have a great experience, they have a positive interaction with your employees, and then they may end up walking home with a new vehicle that same day. So it's really the engine that propels the rest of the dealership, which I think is smart. They've done a great job honing that, and obviously, not everybody can do 4,000 ROs a month, but I think the principles and the tactics that they're using do apply. So to recap a couple of key takeaways here, try to figure out how can you take your operations and remove any steps that are slowing your team down or removing efficiency. So a way that I see all the time is your technicians, your service managers, whoever it is just spending too much time on the phone. And so the more you can allow those appointments to be scheduled with AI or let them book their own appointments, the better off you'll be. Second, how do you ensure that you have a fantastic customer relationship? Not everyone wants to have a dog in the dealership, but what can you do to make that waiting experience pleasant and better than where they might go if they don't come to you? And then ensure that you are communicating as frequently and often as you can so that you're providing transparency. And finally, or not finally, but your ability to consolidate your technology and use technology to automate a lot of these tasks will be key. I know that right now it is kind of the era of AI, but I am seeing a lot of dealerships save hours and hours a week, a month, a day, that they can then focus on other activities. So I think that's key. And then never forget to keep building your reputation. You want to make sure that you have an always-on strategy for driving positive reviews across your dealership. And then if any of these are interesting to you, you can go to connect.com and get a personalized walkthrough of how our tools can solve some of these problems. Let's talk about what's next for dealers. We wanted to put our introduction here at the end. I want to talk about Connect a little bit. We are the AI revenue engine for dealerships. We focus on dealerships of all types. Basically, if you've got a parking lot or a marina with equipment in it, we have software that can help you. And the reason that we are so effective is we've got deeper integrations, and because we're not trying to support all these different industries, we've got the expertise and the products built specifically to solve your problems and the nuances of the dealership industry. We have over 10,000 dealers using our tool, and that's rooftops. That's not individual users. So we are one of the largest tools in the industry. We have millions of conversations that we've processed, and over $1 billion in payments processed. And so all that to say, our AI wasn't born yesterday. We've been around for a long time. We have tools across sales, reputation, and service, and so we can help you consolidate multiple tools into one place, and so you have fewer tools to manage. And then just a proof point, we frequently see, I mean, really our average across our dealers was a 23% increase in monthly revenue. So we want to save you time, but we also want to make you more money. And that amounted to over $100,000 in additional monthly revenue every month, which is obviously fantastic. And on average, that equated to over 100 additional service appointments every month. So we can help you boost your fixed ops revenue and automate as much of your service centers as possible. With that, I'm going to pause and open it up to questions. Taylor, have we had many questions come through yet?
Hi. Yes, we have a few. We can go ahead and get started. But yeah, if you have any questions, feel free to put those in the tab. We'll get started with these first couple. Okay, so the first one is, for a dealership that is just starting to implement automation in their service center, what's the first step that they should take?
That's a fantastic question. What I see a lot of people struggle with is knowing where to start or what to automate. I think the easiest thing to automate is your service appointments as part A, and part B is recall outreach. Those two are the most predictable and automatable tasks. So one of those good sound bites that Austin Subaru mentioned is they'll frequently zero out their recall list from manufacturers, which is obviously giving them more revenue, getting their customers back into the service center, and giving them more chances to interact with those customers. So those are the tasks that I would try to automate. Connect can help with those. Maybe the other thing to keep in mind is if you're a business that is using spreadsheets or you're not logging information in your DMS, you got to make sure you've got your data in your DMS, because we're basically pulling from your DMS. And so the more you are logging conversations and interactions, the easier it is to implement automation.
Awesome. Okay, the next one is, how quickly can we expect to see results after implementing automated scheduling and reminders?
Yeah, I would have thought it would be much longer and much harder, but really we're seeing people see success right away. I talked to another dealership that was basically, I'll just say, their revenue and number of ROs was here, and almost immediately within the month that they set up an AI scheduler, their revenue basically doubled, which is bizarre. I don't know if everyone will see those same benefits, but I was surprised at how fast it worked and how quickly they saw the results. So my generic answer is probably faster than you think, and let's just say that odds are in the first month you'll see benefits.
Yeah, perfect. Okay, this one is more of an integration question, but somebody is wondering if our system has a scheduler that will integrate with Talon.
Yeah, absolutely. We do integrate with Talon and a handful of other DMSs and CRMs, and so basically that means that any conversations we have will be logged in Talon, but also the appointments that if your customer is texting or talking on the phone with our AI tool, those appointments will automatically be logged in Talon. And then also, if the AI gets stumped and they ask some crazy question, you can always just set up rules to say, all right, route those to this person. So the tool is the best once integrated, and we integrate with Talon and quite a few others.
Yeah, awesome. This next question actually kind of goes along with what you were just saying. It's, how can dealerships balance personal human interaction with the automated communication tools to maintain a positive customer experience?
I love this because everyone has experienced a bad bot before, and so you obviously don't want that. There's a handful of thoughts going through my mind. What Cody Penn at Austin Subaru frequently says is he wants to empower his humans to do the work that only humans can do. And so you want to make sure your humans are available for a handshake, greeting your customers when they're coming into the service center, or if something goes wrong, give that customer their full attention. And so he likes to automate those tasks of scheduling an appointment, or some of those just transactional conversations that don't necessarily require a human, because as mortal humans, we only have so much focus and energy in a day. And so if we can take the half that is just sort of routine tasks and automate it, then we can move that share of our brain to focus on those more high impact, deep thinking interactions. So I think that's pivotal. The other thing I was thinking about is I've been on hold quite a few times, and it feels like my blood pressure just increases by 1% every minute I'm on hold. And so if I've been on hold for 10 minutes, by the time I'm talking to that customer or that employee, I'm just irritated and a little frazzled already. And so if you can take half those conversations, we think probably at a minimum, 70% of the conversations that are phone or text can be answered and solved by AI. And so if you can take those and route them directly to an AI where there's no wait time, that AI can talk to, 100 people simultaneously, or more, then your humans can handle those conversations that are more difficult. So again, we don't want to replace humans. It's almost like the difference between hiring Superman to do a job versus Iron Man. We imagine AI to be more like that suit that you put on an employee, like Tony Stark. Now this is a goofy example, but we just want to empower your employees. We're not trying to replace your employees. We just want to make sure that your employees can do the job that you pay them to do and not focus on everything else.
Yeah, perfect. And yeah, I think that it also goes back to what you said also in the other answer of just automate the tasks that are going to be coming in that are routine and repetitive, and then all of the other things, yeah, put a personalized human touch on it. Okay, the last question that we have here is, how do you recommend communicating service delays to customers to keep them satisfied?
The first word I would say is fast. Be quick with that. Don't don't wait until the last minute. Nobody wants to share bad news, but bad news soon is better than bad news late. And so there's a couple of ways you could do it. Depending on your tech stack, you could pretty quickly just say a delay is expected and we'll reach out to you with more information. And then you may have your technician call or have someone call to explain the issue. Frequently they need a part, you got to order the part in and you just didn't expect it, and that's unexpected. I think however you do it, I would say do it fast. I think even a text message just to say there is a delay and we'll send you more context as soon as we have it, I think that is fantastic. And then the nuances of the situation, that's where your judgment comes in. But that's my general advice.
Awesome. Great. Well, I think we hit all of the questions. So thank you so much, Matt, for walking us through this. Thank you, everybody, for joining us today. As mentioned at the beginning, we will be sending this out shortly after we conclude the webinar. But yes, if you have any questions, feel free to text that or call that number at the bottom of your screen right now. But we'll also be having somebody reach out for any questions or if you're interested in learning more about Connect. So have a great rest of your day, and thanks again for joining us.
Thanks, everyone.